Hello, hello, and welcome to the Listen Bitch podcast, your go-to destination for unlocking your full potential and embracing the extraordinary possibilities within you. This is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment as you explore the transformative power of stepping into greatness. Come into alignment with your God-given power and gifts, unleash your soul, and learn to co-create a life that you love. As you become the writer of your own destiny, in this podcast, you're going to find inspiration, practical tips, and a sometimes abrasive nudge to take the leap of faith towards your dreams. You're in the right place. Buckle up so we can unleash your inner badass. Hello, hello, everybody. I hope you had an incredible Easter weekend and you got to spend some time with family and do a little reflecting on really what the holiday is about, which my kids even called that out this year about how commercialized it is. My little girls. Um, she's like, why aren't we just celebrating Jesus? Why are there bunnies and eggs and all the things? So it's pretty great that they're coming into that awareness of how we have just commercialized everything to monetize and it works, right? All the pressure of like, what are you buying your kids this year? Every month we've turned something into like a Hallmark holiday, right? No biggie. My kids had fun and they still got Easter baskets. So let's not play dumb here. It's not like I didn't partake and contribute myself to the scam of monetizing on holidays. Um, but it was a really great few days. And I think something that just kind of highlighted this for me is that I told you guys a while back that my husband and I are doing this thing. Like every morning, we're taking this class, we're doing the meditation. I have a brand new prayer app that I've been incorporating into our daily routines. So just having that as a part of our weekend, it was nice to just kind of talk about and reflect on the things that are kind of crazy about everything that happened. You know, the fact that he died and the day of rest, I think we all kind of get stuck in that day of just like, is he dead? Is he alive? Like we're just not living with that conscious awareness because people really didn't know. He said what he said, but nobody had seen it yet. So just that like holding their breath, I'm sure, of just like waiting, waiting, waiting. And we can't live life in a day of rest just waiting. Like we have to take that massive action. We have to take decisions knowing that obviously the tomb is going to be rolled away and he's going to be risen, you know. Um it's it's a it's a gift. It is a gift to know that literally he went through hell for us. He came here, showed us how it was done. So that's part of it. I do have this incredible uh it is a Bible app. Um but it has like a lot of things and it's like it's got network marketing possibilities as well. So it's like Christian mentorship really. And like a whole network marketing community with small groups. They've got in-person events and this app is literally going to help you grow not just spiritually but financially. I am obsessed with it. I really, really love it. And the guy that runs it, his name is Graham Cook, and he is just incredible. The stories I've heard about him are just mind blowing. The things that he's done in his human experience and bringing people to Christ. But if you guys look in my show notes, you can click the link. Just try it for 5 days. I think the one that I really love the most and kind of that my husband and I use to kick off our, to integrate this in our process. There's a 5 day prayer course challenge teaching whatever you want to call it. That was really phenomenal. And then I don't know if you guys are in the network marketing world, if you know who Ray Higdon is. He actually did the first little welcome training too that I got to see last week too. So there's just some incredible people in on this, and the fact that you can just, I mean, I laugh out loud sometimes because like the love that this guy shares with God and for God and wanting to share God with us is just palpable. Like it's tangible. Like it makes me happy to feel how happy he is to talk about Christ. And you guys, full confession, I told you that um a lot of people were talking shit like I'm an abomination because I cuss and I talk about Christ. And I'm going to do another video disclaimer for that, but it took the wind out of me. So I've been sitting with that. I have not posted outside of another private chat I've not posted my Bible study or my daily readings. And that's terrible because that was my ego. My ego was like, nope, we're backing out of this. People are freaking out. Maybe something's wrong with you. Okay. Maybe there is something wrong if so many people have something so bad to say, like you're an abomination. This is a disgrace in the eyes of the Lord. All these things. I've sat with that for several weeks now. And it's one of those things like I do know who I am. And while people may make us question ourselves, like you're always going to come back to your core ethics and your core truth. There is nothing more personal than your relationship with Christ. Nothing. And yeah, I really do think that people, my husband and I are having a conversation yesterday, and he's just like, how are you just okay not caring what people think about you? And I go through times where I do react. Like he dropped some news on me this weekend, and I reacted, and I was like picking up my phone. I'm like, I'm going to say something. And, it was one of those type and delete, type and delete, type and delete kind of things. And I'm like, I could just let this go. And so I had to sit with like, why does it bother me? Initially, the truth hurts. So we have to seek what truth is hurting us in whatever statement people say. And so you've got to just learn to kind of sit with these things. And I sat with the truth of my relationship with Christ. I sat in the truth of, all the shit talking I've heard about myself coming from people. I sit in that truth, and I really am not bothered by what people think about me or what people say about me, but it's how it affects my family, like how it hurts the people around me. And when you're building a legacy, you don't want to leave a legacy that's going to, taint your kids or make them feel bad. Or, if you're growing into who you are as a person and people are blaming you for whatever, okay? Like this is a whole other podcast episode, but I'm at the center of being blamed for why people don't have a relationship with someone. Like I'm the problem. And really, I've taken myself out of the equation. So that's kind of an impossible excuse, right? But I sit with those things like, and how does it not bother me? Because at the end of the day, I know who I am and God knows my heart. I don't have to explain that to anybody. And I never want to leave anybody in this thing where I'm just like smug or they think like I'm thinking that I'm too good or something. It's not that at all. It's just some things are just not worth my side of the story is not worth it. If you believe what you heard without knowing me or without bringing it to me, because I get talked about, I don't get confronted. And those are two very different things. I get talked about, I get blamed, but no one has stepped up to the plate to really have a conversation, right? I'm cool with that. Let people do what they're going to do. At the end of the day, my core ethics and values, I know who I am and I'm okay with that. And I set these boundaries for my mental health. I set boundaries. I'm very clear with people like, this is as far as I'm going to go. If I work with you and I don't like who you are as a person, like it doesn't go further than that. I come to work, I will be respectful. You tell me to do something, I will do it. I don't go anywhere outside of that. I'm not going to chat about the small talk of, oh, how are the kids? How are the things? I'm not mean. I just am drawing the boundary of like, this is where I stand. We're here. Let's do our job. And then I compartmentalize, right? I'm leaving work. I leave that work stuff at work and I come home and I'm with my family. And that's, if you're not setting boundaries, you're flailing. Another really great thing, and this is going to be the whole topic of today's podcast. Okay, listen, bitch, it is Monday. I know we are recording a little late, and that is always my fault, and it's okay. We're still here. Better late than never. I feel like Shrek says that, or Donkey says it, or something in the Shrek movie. Someone says that. Better late than never. I want to talk to you guys about something that we learned last week, and this was actually my husband's idea because I'm like podcast topics, and he said, "Do the red brain, green brain." And so, also, I guess in some cultures, they call it the owl brain or the crocodile brain. Okay. So, if you have never heard this, I mean, I have heard this a lot, but it was something, just kind of an aha moment for my husband and something for us to help navigate as we try to grow into being really just better parents for our kids, for our family, for us being better people for us. Um, because if you guys have missed this, if you've been living under a rock, my husband's been in chronic pain for forever, his whole life, for decades. And I have a new product, no ingredients, Bible. It's a like Braille for your brain. It's a patch you put on your skin that connects to your brain, communicates with your brain, rewires your brain. And so he's been pain free. And when you're pain free, you make space for other things in your life. So now that he is finally pain free, we have made a lot of space for just not just him growing as a person, but us growing together. And like we're doing it together. And it was the coolest fucking thing we've done in a very long time. And again, I'm talking about boundaries because we had to make it very clear. Everyone in the house knows for at least, I think it's been about an hour every day, every single day for an hour. We lock ourselves in the room and we do our work. We do, the meditation, the journaling, the discussion, the Bible study. We do these things and have set the boundary, and it's working really well for us. So being able to see him grow and be able to have conversations about red brain, green brain after he has lived in red brain and just pain has ruled his life. That's what I'm trying to say. He's free of that. And so it's been a gift to see him like really become who he was always meant to be. But the concept of this, of red brain, green brain, it's like just metaphorically describing the two different emotional sides or mental states. Like when we're talking about the context of like stress or emotional regulation, or even like in making decisions. So, this is something that you can use not just as a parent, but to grow your relationship with your spouse too, or even, whatever situation you need. When we're talking about the red brain, this is the emotionally reactive and impulsive side of your brain. So this is going to be your amygdala. That's your brain's alarm system. I know I nerd out on the brain, and I'm not even sorry because it's so amazing. But like, it's dominated. Red brain is dominated by the amygdala. So your alarm system is going off. This is your fight, flight, or freeze. And there's a bunch of F words that fall into this now, but it's associated to all of those responses. So when you're living in a state of fight or flight or freeze, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, you're angry, you're scared. Your thinking is irrational. You are emotionally driven. So anybody who is like scared, feels like things are out of control, all of these emotions, what the biggest mask for it is anger. So that's why some cultures call it crocodile brain. Okay. You can't focus. You can't learn shit. And you sure as hell do not make good decisions. So then we have your prefrontal cortex. This is like where we're getting the logic, the planning, the empathy, let's practice the pause. That's the green brain. You're calm, you're rational, you're in control. So the green brain is engaging that prefrontal cortex. And this is how you're going to learn stuff. It's how you're going to solve stuff. And it's how you're going to self-regulate. This is where you feel safe. When you feel safe, you can think clearly. You can respond thoughtfully. You are safe. This supports empathy, cooperation, creativity. And so, how would you use this? You're like, Brandon, how would I use this with my kids? If you think about this, this is how you get them to understand and be able to be aware of their emotions, to be conscious. Like, are you in your red brain or your green brain right now? Our code word now, if there's ever just a weird situation, is for my husband, it's crocodile, crocodile. He knows he's going off the edge, right? Or maybe I need to be more assertive and he needs to tell me like crocodile up. Our brain needs to go to sleep, right? Because sometimes crocodile brain is okay. We need both. Like, there has to be a balance, right? But we talk to our kids and we can explain to them. And it's funny because I'm saying this and I literally had a chance to do this with my kids today and I dropped the ball on that. Instead, I was just like, you guys stop talking. Like, just for a little while, stop talking. I want you in separate rooms. Just stop talking. And really, nothing's going to get solved if I'm constantly just telling them to stop talking, right? There has to be a point where we come together and say, okay, which part of the brain are you using? Are you feeling like an owl or a crocodile? But this is how we can start to show them what emotional regulation is. Right. And as a parent, I mean, this is your framework for recognizing and responding to their behavior. Real transformation starts when we stop outsourcing our responses to circumstances. We have to own our internal state, which means we stop blaming people for the shit that's messed up in our life. Okay. And am I talking to everybody? Yes, very clearly. So stop blaming people or outside circumstances because something is messed up in your life. Okay. If there is someone in your life that you want to have a relationship with, nobody's to blame for that but you. But you. You take massive responsibility and you figure your shit out. Okay. As long as we are really taking all of our responses and outsourcing them to circumstances, we're not owning our true core value and ethics. We are not centered. You have to take massive responsibility for whether you're in red brain or green brain. And it's not about perfection, okay? I'm just asking you to start stepping into that self-awareness because that is the key. Step into self-awareness, embrace that emotional regulation and start seeing some consistent intention. You will not change overnight. And this is something that, you know, watching my husband give himself grace, like we're doing these things, we're taking steps to rewire our brain and to retell the stories that we've been stuck on. So we're getting out of the default mode network and we're actually letting our brains rewire with neuroplasticity with different thought patterns. Like, how can we change how we're thinking about this? How can we change how we're reacting to this? And the thing is, like, my husband sees that, like, wow, it's the self-awareness first. And I see that too for myself. I definitely am crocodile mommy a lot. You know, we do get stressed, overwhelmed. We're carrying the weight of everything. I mean, we literally this weekend is the perfect example of that. I had to bartend Friday and Saturday. I'm making food both nights to try to make sure I catch up because Sunday I'm making all the food and I'm taking it. So I work both nights, wake up Sunday morning early. The kitchen is a disaster because I worked Saturday. I was gone for 10 or 11 hours. Kitchen is a disaster and I have a shit ton of food to make. So I'm doing all of these things. I make all this food. I get everything ready. I get it packed. I get it put in my car. Literally all everybody else had to do was wake up and get ready and get in the car, you know? So the minute people start coming into my space when I'm carrying all of this, because I have to figure out, do the kids have clothes? Do we have a change of clothes? Did everybody get a coat? Like, I'm doing all this stuff, right? And so I find myself in that crocodile brain. You know, my husband's literally like wakes up, gets his coffee, eats some food, gets in the car. Like he had no, there was no activation for him to have crocodile brain. So I was definitely like over overstimulated, I guess would be the word, you know? So it wasn't very chill, but I did get to the point where once we got there, I could breathe and I'm like, okay, well, you just did all that. You did all that, you know, knowing that my kitchen was a disaster, you know, and I don't have a magical cleaning fairy. So everything from Saturday through yesterday, and that means including making so much food, was all waiting for me this morning. So that was so much fun. So much fun. But I know I'm taking absolute responsibility for how I'm responding to the kids, being patient. You know, they know it's a speaker day. Mommy has a lot of cleaning to do. That's it. Monday's our catch up day because we're not home on Sundays. I don't even think we got home last night until like 1 o'clock. I don't know. It was super late. Incredible day, incredible family time, but it was late. So we want to take responsibility and we want to start trying to lean into that green brain lifestyle. How could I have done these things? You know, I could have outsourced work. I could have really said, listen, I'm drawing the line. I need some help. Take some responsibility. Um, well, I don't even know about that because there were things that I asked to be done that I still ended up having to do. So maybe that wasn't going to work for me at this point. Um, throwing shit here off my desk. But you guys, at the end of the day, we have to own our state, right? So the first step to stop blaming external triggers, and we have to say, like, I am the one that's responsible for how I show up regardless of what's happening around me. So we're not suppressing emotions. Like, we're not keeping all of that down. I have the awareness of like everything that's going on. I'm feeling all of the crazy. I'm feeling that snap. I'm feeling like, okay, I get this, but I'm not letting red brain hijack me. So I am choosing to respond, not react. What state am I in right now? What triggered it? And then name it to tame it. You know, I'm in red brain, tight chest, shallow breath, rapid thoughts, snappy, you know, uncomfortable, can't sit still. Those are all the red brain triggers for me. You know, you've got to develop, really, I would say, like, just call it daily emotional hygiene. Like the same way that you brush your teeth every day, keeping your brain in green is going to take daily mental, emotional maintenance. You got to work for it. Okay. It doesn't just come naturally. You got to go first. Do your morning check ins, journal, meditate, and ask yourself, like, what am I carrying into this day? What is my intention? What do I want to see? Get into some breath work. Breath work is huge. Like learning how to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. This is going to hit your nervous system. So it shifts you into calm. Even just moving, doing some exercises, this regulates your system. Walk, stretch. You can do things. Even if you're couch bound, you can sit, there are things you can do, but you really just got to interrupt the brain loop. The red brain loop, when you're triggered, pause, breathe, and keep your mouth shut. Your red brain is coming out and it wants to defend, it wants to attack, it wants to escape, it wants to burn it all down. You've got to just sit with it and let it pass. And then ask yourself, like, is this reaction aligned with who I want to be? I do when I start to, yesterday, I had to go outside and do the feel, hear, touch, smell. I had to do that and some box breathing, literally, twice. And so I rein that in. So I'm not lashing out. I'm not speaking. I'm not saying things. That's it. I take that responsibility because is this aligned with who I want to be? Someone's going to freak out all the time. The kids are going to be like, God, you're always so mad, right? Choose green brain habits. Sleep, that's non negotiable. If you have shitty sleep, you're red brain dominant no matter what you do. Your nutrition matters. Blood sugar crashes spike cortisol. If you want to stay stable, then probably step back from the sweets. And you have to protect your peace. And this is something I know, like, there's things I love so much about my husband because he's so great at like psychology 101, where he can mirror people and make them feel really, really comfortable. I don't do that. I don't do that. And it's been an intentional, probably, a toxic survival state of just like, I'm putting up a wall. People think I'm the ice queen. I protect myself. Like, two things can be true. I can be the ice queen, but I'm also the most loving person that will have your back forever. Okay. I will always answer your call, no matter how you've treated me. Okay. And I could give you some names for, references in that case. You have to protect your peace. And I know something my husband sees that I do is he's just like, you set these boundaries. It's amazing. Like, I don't care what people think. I care about who I am and what I want, what's important to my family. I care what my family thinks about me. I do greatly. I care about what my husband thinks about me. I don't care about what, people that don't have anything to do with my everyday life. I really don't care what they say. And can these things hurt my feelings? I already confessed that. So I'm still human. But at the end of the day, my choices aren't going to stay to keep everybody else around me comfortable, you know? Like, Bible study for a badass is coming back with a vengeance. I'm not going to stay gone forever. I've processed those feelings and I see who I am and I know what I need to say and what needs to come out. And I cannot stop talking about Christ. I just can't. I think everybody needs to know that God has our back and he's loved us from the beginning of time. Like, he's loved you. That is insane. It's insane how much he's orchestrated everything for this moment for you to be who you are and your potential. I can't be quiet about that. Like, it is, I can't. So maybe not everybody's going to like how my delivery system is. I don't care. Cause if I can tell one person about Christ, like, I'm doing the right thing. If I talk for the rest of my life just to bring one person to Christ, isn't that what we're called to do? Um, you want to just learn to, have the boundaries, say no, and protect your peace. Say no without worrying about hurting people's feelings. And you want to create an environment that's going to curate calm, limit that overstimulation, right? Hang around grounded people. There is a time in our sessions every day that, I have to put my hand on my husband's chest for a minute and just feel that grounded, just like here, safe, loved, calm. Everything is so good. And we start our day with that foundation. It is so incredible. I love it. That's I recommend it to everybody. 10 out of 10. Start the day like this. Set the boundary. Create your environment. Work with each other to figure out who it is that you want to be, the potential of who you want to step into. Then you have to like rewire with repetition. Brain loves patterns. Okay. So the more you choose green brain responses, the more your nervous system learns safety. So you have to practice that self-compassion when you slip. Okay. We're not going to shame ourselves. We just want to have an awareness. Then we want to use those affirmations like, peace is my power. or there's a lot of scriptures. I feel like this is part of what we learned in a Bible study class on that app I told you guys about. Um, he has a whole list of things that you can gain for your mantra, but you know, just knowing that I'm made in the image of God, like I take that over and over and over, you know, peace is my superpower. I can pause even here. And then you want to just check on yourself every single night. Like, where did I show up in green brain today and where can I improve? You want to lead with curiosity, really, not judgment. So, I would learn, if my husband was in red brain, I can't meet him there. I can't red brain out too. Okay. Be the green brain in the room. And that is something, I've always been his source of peace, right? Like I've always been the one that can rein him in, like no matter how much he's flipping out, as long as I'm there, put a hand on him, he can breathe, everything's calm. So be the green brain for someone. Have that calm, grounded energy, which means I have to be regulated. I can't spaz out at the same time, you know? And instead of escalating conflict, it's just, hey, look, I'm here when you're ready. Go feel how you got to feel. When you want to come back to that, I'm here. This is a practice. Okay. Bottom line, this is a practice. It's not a flip of the switch, but the more that you take radical ownership over your emotional state, the more you take radical ownership over the bullshit that's going on in your life, the more influence you have. Not just over yourself, but in every space that you're walking into. If my daughter and I are not in a good relationship, if we're not doing okay, I do not blame everybody else. I don't blame her. I say, okay, what do I need to work on to meet her where she's at? What am I doing that may be, pushing her away? That's it. It is no one else's responsibility for how the relationships in your life are going. I want to make that very clear. I take radical responsibility. You have to take that ownership over how you feel and what kind of influence you're going to have in the space around you. If you're getting tired of being snappy, if you're getting tired of the spiral or the shutdown, it is really just asking yourself, who is really running the show? Whenever you're in a situation you feel like it's being hijacked, who is running the show? Is this owl brain or crocodile brain? Am I in red brain or green brain? And who do I really want to be in this moment? You guys practice the pause. I mean, Jesus literally taught us that. Okay. Practice the pause because there's so much beauty that shows up after we practice the pause. And it's not just in the resurrection. I'm saying this is literally in his word over and over and over throughout the entire Bible. Practice the pause. There is beauty on the outside of whatever you need to pause from. Okay. And the fact that he always has you and that he came before you, you just know, everything always works out for you. Everything always works out the best way possible for you. Everything always works out for you. I love you guys. We're doing 2 episodes a week because your girl is still slinging patches, and I am already having to make an order to ship some out. So make sure you get on my list for my next shipment. And if you guys haven't checked out the show notes, that's where you need to go. I've still got the Bible app. It's at the top. You get 5 days free. I recommend that prayer section is 5 days long. Go there and you're going to be a believer. Okay. I still have my powder to liquid gold. Those are the essential key nutrients found in colostrum and AC11 in my routine. This is the main key support for my immune system, for recovery, for literally my overall vitality. Okay. If your body has been struggling because it's vulnerable, lacks nourishment, you're going to completely, be exhausted from it fighting off like daily stressors. Your energy is going to dip, recovery slows, your natural defenses are weak. So here you are at greater risk for illness, fatigue, and burnout, and red brain will run your life. But listen, don't wait until it's too late. I have this 3-ingredient product. Okay. 3 ingredients. It's 3 scoops. You put it in, your morning. I put it in my electrolyte. Okay. Because you can't get it hot. Nobody else has this patent for AC11. Okay. Colostrum, AC11. This is it. Don't waste your money on the other bullshit. Okay. Also, those, the pain patches. I have the link there. Okay. It's the little grooves that are sending electric whispers straight through your skin to your brain like Braille. but it literally works for your whole body. My daughter was sick Friday on her deathbed, crying, 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 like did not feel good. I took 4 of my patches to her, put them on her. She texted me an hour later and was like, okay, what the hell is this? Like she's felt amazing since. And she was literally like not okay. So if you're looking for pain free, those are probably my top 2 sellers. That's going to be Freedom and Liberty. When you click on the super patch link, your first order will be 25% off. Okay. And listen, it's a money back guarantee. You have nothing to lose, right? No ingredients. It's not going to interfere with anything, and they're safe for every single body. Every single body. I still have a 10% discount if you guys want to check out the smoking gun beef jerky link. The code is bitch10. The link is in the show notes. And if you really want to show some love because you're like, this podcast, just honestly, thank you so much. Brandon, we love you. We want you to come back to doing more than 2 episodes a week. Go to listenbitchdonations.com because money talks. I am spreading out the hustle to try to get the overhead paid for on this podcast. Okay. I don't know if you guys know, but we're in a bit of a wait for prices to go down. And I'm here for it. I love everything that's happening. But at the same time, like we still have to keep the lights on. So listenbitchdonations.com. If you got some value from the episode, like throw a couple bucks. Okay. Literally $5. $5 if it meant something to you. Share it with a friend who might throw in $5. Just let's get the overhead paid for, and I can put a little more time back into this because no matter how many episodes I do, the cost is the same. Okay. Unfortunately, my time is being used elsewhere. So brandonlynette.com. If you have not signed up for my love letters or have not purchased my books, that's where you go for that. Okay. I still have my favorite neurotropic mushroom coffee linked up there. Got my microdose linked up there. I've got audiobooks linked up there. Books on Amazon linked up there. Check the show notes. Okay. Share this episode if it lit you on fire a little bit, if you learned something new, or if you just had a great reminder to just be aware of what state of your brain you're letting run the show. Okay. Share it with a friend, leave a review leave a review. And that's it. I love you guys. I'll see you Wednesday.